Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast, the Project Investigation Collaboration, the podcast brought to you by the Veritas Project. And as always, we are here with our gracious host, founder of the Veritas Project, Robert Curtis.
Hello.
And I am lead investigator Todd Boyer, and welcome to the Halloween podcast.
Yeah.
So I was looking back today, and I noticed that today is the anniversary of our first podcast with camera in studio.
Oh, yeah.
It's the anniversary of our fourth podcast. We did 2 with audio only.
Right.
And then we did, or was it 3 with audio only? And then we did the one from the Cahokia Mounds.
Oh, yeah.
And then this was our first in-studio, the anniversary of our first in-studio podcast. And here we are 1 year later. It is awesome. Can't believe it's been a year. And the great thing is, and we had this discussion this morning, if we hadn't have gotten stepped on by that other group for the past year, where would we be?
Yeah, we'd probably be monetized by now.
I mean, it's a good possibility because we've actually picked up over 100 new followers this past month since we haven't been stepped on.
Right.
So, yeah, we'd be in a lot better shape.
Trending up now instead of trending across.
So
we can still tell that the algorithm is stepping on us because our weather manipulation video has like 15 views.
Yeah.
And like the one before it has hundreds, and the one before that has hundreds, but that one video has like 10. So it's obvious that they're still messing with the algorithm. But so what are you going to do?
But they're trying to get it squared away for us. And unfortunately, because that group came in with that big name, it kind of affects us.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Is what it is.
Not changing my name.
Yep. So today's podcast is going to be strange happenings that actually took place on Halloween.
Right.
So we have, I believe, 10 strange things. Let me scroll.
Yeah.
Because now we got to scroll. We used
15.
to...
Is it?
10.
Oh, it's 10.
So we have 10 strange things that happened on Halloween. And we're going to go through those today. And, we were like, what are we going to do for Halloween last year? Hey, you guys want to learn about Halloween? Go check out last year's video.
Yeah.
Tell you all about the history of Halloween.
Yep.
Awesome podcast for sure. So what did you think about last night's investigation?
Yeah, it was all right. I brought the spirit box out there, which probably wasn't the best thing because the spirit box has never been used in that location. So it wasn't until the end of the night that they'd started to really figure out how to use it, and then the voices weren't as jumbled as they were in the very beginning. It seemed like in the beginning you would get like 8 or 9 voices all at the same time talking over each other.
Right.
And the people who complain about the spirit box and like it's just radio stations, when we put the evidence up, you'll see that it's the same voice, like 4 words over the space of like 10 radio stations. So It's not, it's not the radio stations. It's actually spirits communicating through the device.
And I had some really cool stuff go on upstairs, and I hope you guys really enjoyed watching the live last night. So next week we'll have all that evidence, once I talk to people who watch the live, because I know you guys usually catch some stuff too that we missed when you're watching the live. So once I get that from other people, and we'll throw all that evidence together, and I'll send you my pictures off of, my ghost tube and all that. So awesome. We'll have those, and we'll have that next week. So let's get into this week's. The Phantom of the Drowning Pool in 1878, San Antonio, Texas. In 1878, on Halloween night, witnesses reported seeing the ghostly figure of a woman rise from the murky waters of the drowning pool in San Antonio. Now, this pool is historically used to drown women accused of witchcraft. And locals believed that the apparition was one of the condemned witches doomed to haunt the pool forever. Now, the figure appeared to float above the water before disappearing into the mist. This eerie sighting has been part of San Antonio's paranormal lore for over a century, with many claiming to have seen the same ghost on Halloween. So Robin's like, I ain't swimming in that pool.
Yeah, it's maybe La Llorona Maybe it's connected to that. The Hispanic or Mexican ghost that drowns children in the river.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't know about that one. That's the new one.
Ooh, excuse
Bless
me.
you. Bless you again.
Excuse me. Yeah.
So our second one is The Vanishing House, built in 1934, Langley Park, England. A group of friends walking near Langley Park, England on Halloween night encountered a large Victorian house they'd never seen before. The house was fully lit and appeared to be hosting a party. As the group approached, the lights flickered, the entire house vanished before their eyes, and locals later told them that a similar house had burned down in a fire many years earlier. The sudden appearance and disappearance of the house remain a mystery, with some believing it to be supernatural manifestation linked to the past. That's a big...
Wow.
That's a lot to see a whole house.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
When I was younger in like junior high, there was a house that we would drive past all the time, and it was abandoned.
Uh-huh.
And if you went in the house, there was like graffiti all over the walls, and it was jacked up, like missing drywall, and you could see the studs. But when you went from the outside of the house looking in, it looked like people still lived there.
Huh.
There was a weird parallax. So I wonder if that's what's going on here. It's like a remnant of the, the not the spirit of a house, but it's like the spirit of the people that live there, projecting what the house used to look like.
That's wild. That's a good thought. That's cool. I did thinking of The Vanishing House puts me in the mindset for the picture that we used for the story this week.
Yeah.
So for you guys that didn't catch it, Bob released me reading a story this week, and I actually used ChatGPT to create a 3,000 word story in the style of Edgar Allan Poe, and I think it came out pretty good.
Yeah.
So don't forget to jump over and check out that story that Bob put it out. I guess it was a couple days ago. So
I think it was yesterday.
Oh, was it yesterday? Yeah. So yeah, check that story out.
It took a while to process.
Oh, did it? On the other computer?
Yeah.
So we'll have to see tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the test on Bob's new computer.
See how
fast it renders and all that stuff. So, okay, back to the stories here. The Phantom Train of Scranton, Scranton, Pennsylvania, in 1929. On Halloween night in 1929, workers at a rail yard in Scranton, Pennsylvania, witnessed an eerie phenomenon. A ghostly steam engine appeared on the tracks. The train moved without sound and seemed transparent, baffling witnesses. As it neared the end of the tracks, it disappeared in thin air, and locals believe the Phantom Train was tied to a tragic derailment that had occurred years earlier on the same tracks. The ghostly locomotive became part of a local legend with stories that it reappears every Halloween. So that's an interesting one, a whole train. Where was that we were talking about train tracks and talking about seeing like Civil War soldiers on the tracks?
Yeah, that's just south of here.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just popped into my head. So
yeah, there's a brakeman who waves a lantern that they see at night sometimes out there, and the brake is now it's automated. Yeah, it's electronic, so there's no person that switches the brakes anymore, or the tracks, but they still see the ghost of the guy out there waving his lantern around.
That's wild. Could you imagine being on a train and like seeing somebody out there with a light? What would you do? Would you call it in? Would you stop? If you knew the stories, you know what I mean?
Right.
Would you stop and check it out, or what exactly would you do in that situation?
Or if like the guy's waving the lantern for like the symbol for the switch isn't thrown, for the tracks to switch, you'd be like freaking out, like, oh man, we're gonna derail the train.
Yeah, that definitely put a little freak into you if you were definitely the engineer on that one. So the Halloween Meteor Mystery from 1938, local one, Kansas City, Missouri. So that's only a few hours up the road. In 1938, a massive glowing meteor was seen streaking across the night sky in Kansas City on Halloween. Now, the meteor broke apart into multiple glowing fragments that hovered in the sky for several minutes before disappearing. Despite widespread searches, no meteorite fragments were ever found, and scientists could not explain the lingering lights. This sky phenomenon remains unsolved, adding to the air mystery surrounding Halloween of that year. So, we are actually known for, a huge UFO sighting here. I mean, that kind of, I wonder, maybe a scout ship or something from that armada that's on its way here in a few years.
There's 3 really good UFO sightings in this region. We have the one from '99 where it went across, the Caseyville and all the way through the county.
Counties.
And then there's a UFO crash in southern Missouri where they actually buried biologics from that crash, and they built a park now down there.
Really?
They're embracing their UFO heritage. And then
that's cool.
Just south of St. Louis, there was reports of a UFO crashed back in the horse and buggy days. So there's three of them right in this area.
Yeah, that one from '99 though. You guys take a look at that one. I think that was on Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
So that one from '99, that's a good one to go down a rabbit hole on, because that was, that wasn't just a few people saw it. This was like
the police.
The police followed it for hours, and like the people in rush hour saw it. I mean, this sighting went on for hours and hours. So it was a good one. So that's a good one to dig down and hop down the rabbit hole, so to speak. So. So the haunted elevator of Minneapolis in 1969. In 1969, an office building in downtown Minneapolis became the site of a spooky Halloween occurrence. The building's elevator began moving erratically on its own, opening and closing doors without input from any passengers. Strange noises, including faint moans, emanated from the elevator shaft, and those brave enough to enter it reported feeling an overwhelming cold sensation and an unseen presence. The building, later revealed to be constructed on the site of a former hotel that burned down, added to the ghostly reputation of the site. But by the next day, the elevator returned to normal and no explanation was found.
Wow.
So,
they say that Halloween, the veil between the living and the dead is thinnest on Halloween night. So that could be why it'll run out of memory.
Yeah, that'll be the next thing that'll run out of memory this morning. Oh. And we're back. We had a little technical difficulty. Apparently, the power strip that we had the camera plugged into wasn't charging the camera.
Yeah.
So that little hiccup there in Bob's story, we don't even know where it cut out. That was the end of it. So we'll just move on to the next one.
There you go.
So the strange sky glow in Greensburg, Kansas in 1952. Now, on Halloween night, the town of Greensburg, Kansas, was bathed in an unexplained orange glow. The light lingered in the sky for hours with no identifiable source, such as fire or celestial event or anything like that. The eerie glow mystified the residents as it slowly faded away without explanation, and no similar occurrence has ever been reported again, and the event remained an unsolved mystery in the town's history. So another semi-local one, not horribly far away. I noticed there's a lot of stuff happens in Mid-America.
Right.
It's odd that it just happens to be here, So I don't understand why. So it just...
Maybe people notice it more.
We got nothing better to do, right?
There's nothing going on,
I mean... I would say, could it be northern lights? But northern lights are usually green.
Yeah.
So what would be orange, though?
I don't know. That is weird. And it would linger in the sky. If it was like a meteor or something, it would just come and go. But it's weird that it would hang out for a while.
So, number 7 is the mysterious fog of Kent, Ohio. In the early 1900s, a strange thick fog rolled into the town of Kent on Halloween night. Now, the fog was described as unusually dense and unnatural. It moved in bizarre patterns through the streets. Now, it was seemingly guided by unseen force. It caused animals to act strangely and electronics to malfunction throughout the night. Some townfolk claimed to see shadowy figures within the fog, and the phenomenon persisted until early morning, vanishing without a trace. The town's attempts to explain through weather patterns or environmental causes yielded no answer, leaving it a total local mystery. I wonder if that's what they based the movie The Fog off of. Have you seen that, where the pirate ghosts come through the fog? And there's actually several movies with like dense fog causes
the
things.
Mist.
Yeah.
The fog.
There's a few of them that they're different, but they're the same.
Yeah.
Different things in thick fog. What's the one with is that the mist that has the alien bug things? And
Silent Hill.
Yeah, Silent Hill's got a lot of fog to it. But I think the Silent Hill comes from smoke, isn't it? The burning of the town or whatever.
Oh, it's just unnatural.
Is it unnatural fog?
Yeah, it's just unnatural fog. Stuff lives in it.
Yeah.
I love that game.
Yep. So in 1966, there was a mass bird collision in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And Halloween night, thousands of birds in Baton Rouge suddenly flew into buildings, vehicles, and other structures, resulting in a massive number of bird deaths. While bird collisions occasionally happen, I know everybody's had that bird thunk on their window, thunk. The scale of the event and its timing on Halloween made it particularly eerie. Locals suggest it was supernatural omen, but scientists could not definitely explain the cause, despite speculating that lights or weather might have disoriented the birds. I wonder if there was an unusual electromagnetic field, because birds fly by electromagnetic. They basically can feel which way is north and whatnot. So I wonder if that's maybe there was a weird electromagnetic field
or something that threw off their navigation.
That's kind of wild.
Birds are really fragile.
Whole bunch.
People don't realize, that if birds' bones are hollow, so if they hit something, it'll probably kill them. That's why.
Right. So.
Birds
hitting windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they break their little necks. I've seen them knock themselves out and then get up and walk it off. But they fly into those things at velocity. So, it's like the equivalent of us hitting it in a car,
Yeah.
So the Taos Hum incident in Taos, New Mexico. Scroll that up there. So in 1994 in Taos, New Mexico, there was a low-frequency sound heard by some residents in Taos, New Mexico. Now, this reached peak of strangeness on Halloween night in 1994. That night, more people than usual reported hearing the hum, which seemed louder and more pervasive than ever before. Some claimed they could feel vibrations accompanying the noise, rattling windows and making them feel uneasy. Despite investigations from scientists and acoustic experts, no one has been able to locate the source of the hum. Its amplification on Halloween has left many questions whether there's supernatural connection. I wonder if that was a low resonant, deep earthquake hum.
Could be, yeah. That would be a good explanation for it, especially in that area. New Mexico is known for its deep earthquakes.
So yeah, that's a good possibility, because some people can pick up on that stuff better than others, and then maybe it just escalated a little on Halloween night, and that would give it a good reason. So
or earthquake opened up a chamber and then an aquifer flowed into it, and then that's what they were hearing through the bedrock was the sound of water moving into a new
theory too.
A new thing.
That's good theory.
Yeah.
So our last one is actually the most recent one. Now, in 2007, just up the road in Chicago, multiple residents near a notoriously haunted Bachelor's Grove Cemetery in Chicago reported receiving strange phone calls on Halloween night. The calls came from disconnected or unknown numbers, and those who answered described hearing static, faint whispers, or the voice of deceased relatives. The phone companies found no record of the calls being made, and no pranksters were ever identified. Well, obviously, if they report no calls being made.
Right.
This unsettling event has become part of the Bachelor's Grove haunted legacy, with some believing the calls were a direct link to the spirit world. Once again, Halloween night, veil is thin.
Yeah.
You guys know that like almost all the paranormal stuff that we do has to do with EMF fields and energy.
Right.
Because
static electricity,
because it's all, it's literally a law of science that energy cannot be destroyed, only changed forms. So, that's why we use EMF detectors and all that kind of stuff. So I wonder if that energy passed into the phone lines or, because all it is an electrical signal coming up your phone, making the phone ring.
Phones are low voltage too.
Yeah.
They're only 1.4 volts. So it doesn't take a whole lot to interfere with the phone signal.
You know what's funny about that is if you think about it, that will never happen again. Because it's very rare to have an actual landline anymore. Right. Everybody has cellular. So, like, landlines are actually really rare. And the only problem with that is if there's an emergency and cell towers and stuff go out, a lot of times landline will still have power.
Yeah. Well, landline doesn't even need power.
Yeah.
It just, the power in your landline is just to illuminate the handset. Right. So, without the power, it'll still work.
So there you go.
So yeah, that's why.
Time to get a home phone line, guys.
Yeah.
Just in case things go sideways.
The EMP takes out the cell phone network. Only your old aunt will be able to communicate with anybody.
Old rotary phone. Have you ever seen the videos of the kids trying to dial the rotary phones? Those are great. Gen X. We didn't even have. I want to say we finally got one with the touch buttons, the touch tone phone, but we had the old, your little aluminum wheel spacer there looks like a rotary phone on the side of the box. Yeah. So it literally is a disc with a bunch of holes in it. So It looks like a rotary phone. But yeah, that's the kind of thing will never happen.
No. Yeah, it would take immense power to overload the cell phone frequency, especially at 5G.
Right.
You'd drain the power plant trying to override that signal.
Right.
Whereas the old phone, all it would take is a power line that's down, on something like a piece of tin. If the phone line was stripped and then it fell down on like a tin roof or something, that would make enough interference, for you to be able to communicate with it. So I wonder if that could be what happened too. Maybe the phone line was down. And it just was making just enough of a connection on a tin roof that it was randomly dialing numbers in the system.
Now that you say that too, AM radio frequencies, the towers themselves are charged.
Right.
So I wonder if maybe an AM radio, maybe that had something to do with it, some kind of signal cross onto, because that would explain voices.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, theories, hypotheses.
You ever see the video where the guy puts a piece of bologna on the AM radio tower? Because anything that makes contact with the radio tower will resonate with it. So, like, if you touch it, then it'll shock you, whatever. So he throws a piece of bologna on the AM tower, and you can hear the radio
through the bologna.
Piece of bologna. Yeah,
that's wild.
Right.
So we always go down them rabbit holes.
Right.
So thank you guys for joining us on the podcast. Let's see. Don't forget to check out the Patreon. Unfortunately, like Bob said a couple weeks ago, there's no.
They got rid of the free tier.
They got rid of the free tier. So the tier we have, I think we've got $1 and a $5 tier. If you do the $5 tier, we send you postcards.
Yep, send you a postcard.
So in fact, did they get all sent out? Did you guys get your postcards?
We sent them out.
So we have a few people that actually get those postcards. So, and then don't forget to check out Teespring.
Yeah.
Get the merch.
Yep. Buy the merch. You can't buy that shirt.
Can't buy this shirt. This one's original.
There was a sample.
So, the Brian last night, they were pleasantly surprised. We gave them one of the pins, and he was I am tired. He was pleasantly surprised at the fact that we actually had merch. So it was kind of funny.
His daughter was impressed with the quality of the pin that I designed.
Yeah.
Like anything
She
else.
was like super happy about it. She's like, oh my goodness, this is really nice.
If you could see my computer, I don't
Bob
ever...
don't play.
I don't ever have to do anything. So our pins they're blued chrome. On the back of it has 2 pins, so it doesn't rotate.
Yeah, they're super, super nice pins.
And the front is actually hard enamel.
Yep.
It's
so
not
it won't
plastic,
chip. It won't come up. They're made to last for a long time.
Yeah.
And our Patreon, $5 Patreon members got one of those pins when they came to the Limp.
Yeah.
So there you go.
How about that?
See, become a $5 Patreon member.
Yeah. Come to our stuff. You get free things.
Yep. Next year, we'll have to start planning.
Yeah.
So
maybe we'll do keychains or something next year.
So let's see. Teespring, Patreon. Oh, Robin said she got her postcard yesterday.
Yay.
So, Teespring, Patreon, anything else? Do we want to?
Not really. Just put the word out. Tell everybody you know that the YouTube channel is awesome.
Yep. Get us out there, guys. Stuff. Oh, we need to send some of our Patreon members, a few of the business cards, and let them hand out a few business cards. So we'll get that in the works for you guys, and if you guys want to tell us your ghost stories, and we absolutely love to hear your ghost stories.
Yeah.
Our email addresses are at the end of the video, in the credits, but Bob's is the real Veritas Project at gmail.com. And I am investigator.todd.paranormal@gmail.com. So either one, send it to either of us. If you got pictures, anything you want us to check out, we will absolutely take a look and see what we can see. And,
Yeah. If you want to interact with the videos on the YouTube or on here, put the comments in there. We respond to everything.
Yep. Bob answers every comment.
Yep.
So thank you guys for joining us. Let's see. Oh, don't forget to check us out on all other social medias, RS Curtis and the Real Veritas Project. And I'm Investigator Todd on everything. Facebook, Instagram, all the others.
Yeah, I'm going to catch up the Spotify. When I talked to Google, they mentioned that the Spotify channel has actually gotten traction.
Oh.
But I haven't uploaded anything in months and months to Spotify, so I'm going to have to go through and redo the Spotify. Yeah.
You got 52 weeks worth of podcast.
I know.
That's going to take you a minute.
I think what I'll do is I'm going to strip all the video out of the Spotify and then upload just the audio, so it's not quite as brutal.
Yep, something you can
spend hours and hours uploading it to Spotify.
Right.
Yeah, because I think all it needs is audio on Spotify. We don't need to have a video on there. We're not like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, exactly. Still, thank you guys for joining us on the Halloween podcast, the strange events on Halloween. And definitely go back and check out the history of Halloween from last year.
Yep.
And, once again, thank you guys for joining us. And remember
to stay curious
and find the truth, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody.
See ya.